doll.
Hey, doll.
I'm your host, Cynthia.
And I'm your host, Paula.
And we are
Dolls and Doom.
And we're going to do something a little different today. We thought we'd let Paula give us some creepy little tidbits. Also, we thought at the end of it, we'd have a little Q&A sesh between Paula and myself so you can get to know your dolls a little better.
Yeah, something fun, something different.
Yeah, so okay, Paula, why don't you send some shivers down our spine?
Okay, so I have a few surprising facts you probably didn't know about serial killers. Okay, so Jeffrey Dahmer pulled a lot of pranks in high school. He would make sheep noises in class. He would fake epileptic seizures. And it became so popular for his pranks that it was called doing a Dahmer.
Wow.
Yeah, not weird?
So he was probably a really likable guy.
Yeah, very charismatic, I'm picturing.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, neither did I.
Okay.
Ted Bundy had a hero side. He rescued a kid from drowning. He apprehended a thief who stole a woman's purse. And he worked at a suicide hotline.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that just goes to show that it's like, it has to be on their terms. It's
Right.
not that they just want to see somebody die. They want to take their life.
They want to be the one in control.
Right. Wow, that's fascinating.
Right? Many serial killers have a normal family that have no idea. For example, John Wayne Gacy was married twice and divorced twice. He had 2 daughters and 2 stepdaughters. At the time he was murdering boys and stashing the bodies, it was in his family home. He convinced his wife the smell was because of mice.
Oh my gosh. Worst husband ever.
Seriously. Arthur Shawcross saved a man's life. And in case you don't know, he's known as the Genesee River Killer. He was in the process of serving a 5-year sentence for burglary and arson and saved a guard's life during a riot. And he was then let out after only 22 months. This turned out to be a bad idea as he went on to kill at least 14 people, some of which included cannibalism.
Ooh.
Yeah, but the surprising fact is that he saved a man's life.
Yeah. Again, that just points back to it really just has to be on their terms.
Exactly.
It's not that they just love death. They just love causing it.
Right. And being in control.
Yeah. And hurting people, all kinds of horrible things.
Right. So the last one, Aileen Wuornos. Wuornos. Yeah, that's the one that Charlize Theron played. So she was the female killer and the role that Charlize Theron played and won an Academy Award for. She was apparently an artist. There are many jail drawings she's done, and you can now purchase on Pinterest and Etsy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'll have to look them up. I don't know that I would personally hang a killer's artwork in my home.
Agreed.
But I do, my heart goes out to her. Of all the killers, she's one for a few reasons. One, she was local to us. But her story really breaks my heart. I feel like she is a really good example of a monster that was made.
Yeah, she was dealt a really bad deck, and it just kept getting worse and worse.
Yeah, my heart goes out to her. Not that what she did was right. She hurt a lot of families, but it's a heartbreaking life that she had.
Yeah, I really feel like if she had a better background, that it wouldn't have turned out the way that it did.
Yeah, potentially not. Well, those are some interesting facts, Paula. I didn't know.
Thanks.
I didn't know any of those.
I didn't either.
Wow, good job.
Thanks.
Well, why don't we share with our listeners some interesting tidbits about us that they may not know?
Okay.
So, first of all, I'm going to ask you, what turned you on to true crime?
Well, being a child of the 80s, I loved Scooby-Doo and reading Nancy Drew books.
Oh, yes.
Any book on Nancy Drew I could get my hands on, and any rerun of Scooby-Doo I watched over and over. Solving the mystery was just a huge draw for me. So,
absolutely. And Matlock. Did you ever watch Matlock?
My parents did, and I watched it once in a while, when it was on the TV. So, once in a while, yeah.
Every case ended up having like a twist at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I really liked that as a child.
I did also watch other very 80s and early 90s shows like Heart to Heart and Remington Steele, anything with a mystery.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
How about you? What turned you on to true crime?
To be honest, I think I was reading a pretty inappropriate book while I was young. So my father has always been in law enforcement, both with the police and then the federal government. And he had all of these books, and it was kind of a, it's his passion. And so growing up, I remember like my favorite movie was Silence of the Lambs and things like that. And there was this book called Obsession that talked about the types of serial killers and specifically the different types of rapists. And it was written by, I believe his name is John Douglas, and he is one of the criminal profilers that was kind of actually used as a like a model for some of the characters in Silence of the Lambs. He's a really amazing criminal profiler, and he wrote this book all about like how they profile these killers and rapists. And I remember reading this book, and I may have talked about it, on the show before, but it really I found it fascinating. And I just thought it was so interesting how their minds work and the different things that you can say and do depending on which type of person has captured you that you could potentially use to try to save yourself. And then which ones, it doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to save yourself. I just found it super interesting. So that's the first thing I can remember reading that book and thinking, wow, this is fascinating.
Yeah, I totally want to borrow that book.
Oh, yeah. I still have it. And honestly, now that I'm an adult and a mother, I actually can't bring myself to reread it because it's pretty intense. But when I was a kid, that frontal lobe hadn't formed yet. So it was one of those things that would never happen to me back then. Now I realize it could happen.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
I have not ever seen a ghost. I do not believe in ghosts. However, I have had some situations happen that I cannot explain. Quick run through, the story that you and I, or the building that you and I used to work in when we worked together.
Yes.
Had a reputation of being haunted, and I was working alone there a couple of different times when I would hear somebody like call out, and I'd turn around thinking for sure that like one of my coworkers was standing 3 feet away from me because like my back was towards my office door, and I'd turn around and there'd be nobody there. There'd be nobody in the building. And then one time there was this one hallway like that you had to walk through to get to the exit, and it always kind of creeped me out. It was like a dark hallway. You couldn't really see the rest of the building, and it was kind of a windy building, so like anybody could have been anywhere in the building, but if you were in this hallway, you were closed off to them, but you had to go through it to get out. And as I was walking through the hallway, I heard these crazy fast, like not human, super fast, like footsteps sound like they were coming towards me. And I just like felt this rush of energy. I got chill bumps all over me, and I literally could not get out that door fast enough. And I still to this day have no idea what it was. Maybe it was just in my head, but it was something very strange that had never happened to me before. And it has only ever happened to me in that building.
That sounds creepy.
Yes. How about you?
I have not. I kind of feel like it's possible. I'm also hoping that maybe if there's someone that passed away in my life, they know that I'm afraid, and so they don't want to contact me, which I'm totally fine with. So no, I haven't had any experiences like that, thankfully, because I'm a big chicken.
Right. We love true crime, but don't let a ghost come visit us.
Yeah. I don't need to step like up close and personal in my life.
Right. Okay. Well, on that note, what is the scariest movie you have ever seen?
Annabelle scared the crap out of me.
Okay.
Paranormal Activity scared the crap out of me.
Yes.
Actually, after I saw Annabelle, I'm in my 40s, and I had to sleep in the nightlight for like a good 4 weeks after that. So, but this was back when I lived alone, so
Right. Yes.
it's a little more understandable. But
Okay.
yeah, that scared the crap out of me.
Yes.
How about you?
Okay, so for me, it was, well, you have to take it in context. So it's definitely not the scariest movie I've ever seen, but it's the movie that scared me most, and it's The Ring. And it's because I was like 18 years old, living on my own. The visuals of that movie were just, it was just terrifying to me. And then I had to go home to my quiet, dark space, living alone. And I remember not being able to sleep for like a week. I think I literally slept with like the lights on. And then I just recently, in the last like 6 months, probably rewatched the movie. I'd never watched it again. And in the rewatch, I'm like, this is so not scary at all. But at the time, being probably like, 18 or so. I don't remember how old I was when it came out, but I was a young adult. It was terrifying. I'd never seen anything like that. But probably like the scariest movie, like actual scariest movie ever is The Exorcist. That's like a terrifying scare, because I believe that could absolutely 100% happen.
Yeah.
And just the way they did that, the way they made that movie, they did such a brilliant job making it.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what if there was a zombie apocalypse? Who are the 3 people you would want on your team?
Okay, are they real people or are they like not real?
Let's mix and match.
Okay, so anybody.
Yeah,
in
why
the
not?
history of ever. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, not including my family, because obviously my family is who I would take with me just because it's my family, but I don't think they do much to protect me. So if I rule them out, then I would say Katniss Everdeen, Wonder Woman, and I'm not really into superheroes, but who else is like really, really strong? What's the girl from Frozen's name?
Elsa?
Elsa, yeah. I feel like maybe she might be able to do something with some ice.
I like that.
And I'm in a group of women. We can keep our heads on straight.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's who I'd pick. Off the cuff.
I
That's
like
who I'd
it.
pick.
I like it.
How about you?
Okay. I would have said my boyfriend because I know he'll protect me in any situation, but I'm going to go with The Rock,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Harry Potter.
Okay.
Because why not? Let's get some magical spells in there.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And then I'm going to steal your Wonder Woman suggestion.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, she's awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah, girl power.
Yeah. Now, I would have, of course, my husband was a former Marine. He's a tough guy. Like, I know he would protect me, but I would be so worried about his safety that I think we would fare better if I didn't have to worry about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally do.
So that's why I didn't invite you, honey. Okay. Well, let's see. Who do you think would play you in a movie?
Oh gosh. See, it's hard because I've got 2. So Megan Mullally,
Oh, yeah.
love her, or Kristen Wiig. I get a lot of Kristen Wiig from my boyfriend and my best friend. They're always like, "Oh, every time I see Bridesmaids, I think of you." And
I can totally see both of those for sure. Kristen Wiig, I totally, like, personality-wise, and like your face is, like, you look like her. That's a huge compliment because I think she's gorgeous.
I do too.
But yeah, I would say personality, really, Kristen Wiig. Who's the girl from The New Girl?
Zooey Deschanel.
Zooey Deschanel. That, off the top of my head, is who I would say would play you, Zooey Deschanel.
And back when I had bangs and longer hair, I got that comparison all the time, which is a huge compliment.
Oh, she's adorable.
She is.
And quirky and, like,
Yep.
a little weird. And
Yep.
yeah, like, I think that's who I would have picked. But Kristen Wiig, yeah, that's a good match for you, too.
Yeah.
For sure.
How about you? Who would play you?
I would say Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, I can see that.
I used to, when I was younger, I've had people stop me and say, "Oh my gosh, you look just like the Clueless girl." Now, as I've gotten older, I think I look less like her, but I can see it. So I would say Reese Witherspoon.
She wasn't in Clueless. She was in Legally Blonde.
Clueless. Yes, Legally Blonde is what I meant. Thank you.
You know who I cast as you?
Who?
Kristen Bell.
Oh, I didn't even think of her, but I've had several people tell me that she reminds them of me. Did I say that right?
Yeah, it's your mannerisms. Her mannerisms are similar to yours, and the way that she talks and how she gets excited about something, and like her hands are gesturing.
She's adorable, so that's a huge compliment. As is Reese Witherspoon, of course. But,
As are you.
oh, thank you. She's super funny, so I take that as a huge compliment, and I can see that. I can see her. Yeah, I can see that totally for sure. Okay, last question. What is your favorite Halloween costume that you've ever had?
Okay. I am a huge Halloween nerd, and every year I make my costume, as in I go to Joann Fabrics and I get material and I sew it. Sometimes I will draw it out first if it's not something that already exists. Out of all of those costumes, the one that I actually didn't sew was my favorite. It was Naked Rose from Titanic. So all I was wearing was a nude bodysuit. I kind of like penciled in the chest details, a belly button, and then I had on the replica of the necklace and a long red wig. So I went to a party and I had a bathrobe on and slippers.
Oh, yeah.
And my wig was, up in a bun.
Uh-huh.
And after a couple hours, my friend said, okay, it's the unveiling of Paula's costume. And everyone's like, costume? I thought she was just like the girl out of the shower. Nope, there was more to it. And I laid down and it was like the friggin' paparazzi. It was like all the cameras are going off taking my picture as I'm laying on the couch.
You need to send me one of these pictures so I can put it on Facebook, please.
We'll see.
That's adorable. I don't think I've ever seen these photos, which says something, because
I guarantee I've showed you.
maybe. It's not, I feel like you should have showed me, but I don't feel like I've ever seen it.
Okay, so what is your favorite costume?
Oh, Paula, my favorite Halloween costume I've ever worn, actually, I have two. And both of them remind me of you.
I think I know what it is.
So the first one is just classic. I was Edward Scissorhands.
I was right. That's the one I was thinking of.
Oh my gosh. And you know what? Not to toot my own horn, but I made a freaking awesome Edward Scissorhands.
She really did, you guys.
It
She
was-
didn't look like a girl in a costume. She looked like Edward Scissorhands.
Right, yeah. Like, I'm not into that whole, I mean, you do you, but I'm not into the girl version. Like, let me wear my dress. No, I did. I looked like Edward. And I didn't do anything. I just wore his black suit. I wore the gloves. I made the gloves with the scissor hands out of foam. I wore the crazy wig, and I just did the makeup. I wasn't trying to make myself look like a boy, but I did. I looked like him.
You did. The
Which
makeup
is-
was perfect.
That's why it's my favorite. It's just, it turned out. And it was so simple. I think I got the ingredients for that costume maybe like a couple days before. So definitely one of my favorites. And even though I don't fit in it anymore, I kept it because
Well, of course.
it's classic.
Yes, it is.
But then my second favorite also reminds me of you.
Because we were together.
We were together, and these were awesome costumes. You were the Bride of Frankenstein, and I was the leading lady from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. I had on the green dress. I had little black birds all over me. I had them in my hair. I had the platinum blonde wig, and you and I got together. It wasn't even Halloween. We had a Halloween party to go to, but we thought, before we do that, let's go to Spirit Halloween store.
Yep. And we took a bunch of pictures of ourselves.
And it was early in the season.
Yeah.
The store was open, but it wasn't hopping and popping yet. And we made their night.
Yep.
We went in there just off the cuff and took, it was so much fun. That was such a fun night, just dressing up with you. And both of our costumes were on point.
Yes.
We looked, and they were pretty costumes too.
Yeah.
We looked pretty.
Right.
Which most of the time I like to look scary, but that particular night we both looked pretty. And
Yes, we did.
it was just so much fun.
And then after the party, I needed to get dog food for my dog, so we went to Walmart and
That's
just
right.
walked around and took our time.
That's right.
And you see other people passing the aisle and then reversing back and looking am I seeing what I think I'm seeing?
That's right. Oh, it was so fun.
It was.
It was really a fun night. And I still have that costume as well, of course. And I keep thinking, I'm going to reprise it. But like you, I do a new costume every year. But that's just so fun.
It is. And I will reprise a costume if it's a group of people that didn't see it before. So if I
Right.
wore it to work but not a party, then I'll wear it to a party a different year. So
Right.
I still have all of my stuff.
I just recently purged and got rid of a lot of it. But I kept those two.
I actually did purge and got rid of the stuff that, I'm too mature for now. So I gave it to my best friend so her daughter could play dress up or use it for a costume. So, yeah.
So fun. Hey, do you remember the time that one time Paula and I went to the beach and dressed up as mermaids in costumes that Paula made, and we did a whole photo shoot as mermaids.
Yes, we did.
And let me tell you, we're two women. We're like middle-aged women.
Yeah.
Dressed up as Mermaids on the beach.
Yeah. We're not like 18-year-olds going to the beach dressing as mermaids. No, we're adults.
We are middle-aged adults.
Call it what it is.
Who were gorgeous mermaids, let me just
Yes,
tell
we
you.
were. We like to have quirky, weird fun.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'm going to ask you one more question just because
Okay.
I think we have a little time. So, if there were any case in the world that you could cover, what case would you cover?
I'm going to say the Rebecca Zahow case.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, right? They claim it was suicide, but she hung herself naked out the window with her hands behind her back. I just don't understand how you could do all of that to yourself.
Yeah, like tied behind her back.
Tied behind her back.
And the thing that always gets me, first of all, she was a Christian woman. First of all, I don't know any woman who's gonna hang themselves nude.
Right.
Just why would you do that?
Right.
But she was a Christian woman, so even more so,
More strange.
Yeah. The thing that makes it the most bizarre is they've determined that she was probably on her period and she was bleeding.
Right.
And are you going to hang yourself naked while you're bleeding? No.
No.
No. I don't know what to make of that case, but I don't think she did it to herself.
Right. I would love to find answers.
Yeah, that's a weird one for sure.
Same question, back to you.
Okay, so there is a case that I can't wait to cover. But the thing is, I can't tell you anything about it yet as far as names goes. Here's why. Now, this is going to sound like I'm making this up. This is 100% true. So my family owns 40 acres of property that's been in my family for my entire life. And a lot of it is wooded. It's on a lake. There is a business on it. So there's a couple buildings. There's a house on it. But most of it is pretty wooded. And in 2019, a discovery was made. We have a company that comes out and mows the grass. And they discovered 2 decomposing bodies under a tarp in an area that they had mowed just the week before. And I know I've mentioned this to you, Paula. It was 2 women. They turned out to be sex workers. It took, for one of them at least, several weeks, maybe even months for her to be identified. So she didn't really have close friends or family who were necessarily out looking for her. And it turns out they were murdered by the same man 2 different times, brought to the property at 2 different times. They were murdered in 2 different ways. And he is actually going to trial. It's set for this year. And once that trial has happened, then I will be able to bring you this case that is literally very, very close to me. I was working there at the time. I was there. I was on the property. I walked after, of course, the police came and removed the bodies and processed the scene. I walked down there. I smelled the decomp. This is the closest I have ever been to anything like this. And I just can't wait to tell you the story of these 2 women and shed some light to their story, because it's terrible. We don't really know exactly why or anything yet. We're waiting to get those details from the trial, but that's the case that I really, really antsy to share.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one. I can't wait to hear the details.
Right. And especially because I don't know that anybody else will really be sharing it. Unfortunately, because of the state of the bodies and the size of the women, they were petite women, one in particular. Initially, it was reported that it was a woman and a child. And when that was reported, of course, everybody came out of the woodwork. You couldn't even step foot on the property without news channels and everybody wanting to interview you all of these things. And we weren't allowed to give any statements or anything like that. We wouldn't anyway. But then when it was found out that it wasn't a woman and a child, it was actually 2 sex workers. It was amazing how a lot of the interest went away.
Yeah, that's usually the problem.
And it's terrible because they're people, they're human. And we learned a little bit about some of the victims through their family members. I mean, it's just terrible. It's sad. It's so sad, these women's stories. So when I can share that, I will. But that is the case that I cannot wait to bring to you.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yes. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And on that note, we love telling the stories of these victims. We think that everybody deserves to have their story heard. and to be honored. And we always try to be respectful of the victims and the scenarios. And if you have a story you would like for us to tell, email us at dollsanddoom@gmail.com or find us on Facebook or Instagram.
Hit like and subscribe.
Well, we hope to bring you a new episode every Friday.
I guess we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.